Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and today's sponsored video is for a mobile MMORPG called AxE, Alliance X Empire. This is a game that focuses on, imagine this, an alliance versus an empire. It's faction versus faction, open world PvEVP on your mobile device. If that sounds like fun to you, well then you're going to click the link in the description, start the download immediately. Check it out on Android and iOS. What you're about to watch is going to be gameplay of me playing a little bit of the PvP. You're going to see me do a little bit of PvE because it's a PvEVP game, open world questing, that also intermingles with the different factions, the zones, they're both in them. You're going to see some enemy players. Sometimes you're going to get killed by enemy players, and sometimes you'll do the killing. That feels pretty good a lot of the time. So this is a title where each faction actually has unique classes between them as well. 3 different classes that do have kind of parallels between the other 3 classes on the other side. Still pretty different, and the aesthetic and moral theme choices between them are also very interesting as well, and distinct. So choose a faction, play with your friends, make some enemies, and have a hoot and a holler. And even though it is an open world PvEVP game, that's just a portion of it. I would say like 50% of the game. You also do have your arenas, which I'm going to show that as well, special specific events, and you do have a dungeon diving, and it is generally a looter type of game with the end game like dungeon raids being quite hardcore. This is just going to be me and my first thoughts and, you know, my feelings, and just footage of me just jumping really into the PvP for the first time. So this is kind of like a first look, but it's sponsored, so it's not a review or anything like that. But hey, here's some footage, here's some things, I'm saying some words, and hopefully I can entice you to click that link in the description. So the character I'm playing with is the Blader, the Blade Master on the Alliance side, and this is a class that really focuses on maybe using sword abilities, imagine that. That I actually really like the art of it. I like the petals and the pink abilities. There's actually some like ice elemental attacks, and I'm still unlocking stuff here and there and still customizing my character. But I'm at a point in the game where I guess you could say is sort of like the middle of the leveling process. I'm still very much a noob, and I'm still just now actually unlocking a lot of the PvP stuff, like it's the ability to PvP and getting into PvP zones. So nothing too dramatic here. So I don't have any subtle customization of my character of any kind at the moment. The paper doll is still very generic and linear at this point, and I haven't unlocked too many abilities, but for the most part, you can still get a taste of what the raw gameplay, the foundation of what this game is, you know, the meat and taters of what you're going to be really playing as you get to the end game. I think we can start to see it here. So I'm going to be running through, and I'm going to be mostly using the auto-targeting. You might see that it says auto-battle, or it might say like manual skills, but basically I'm allowing the game to sort of aim and move itself, because overall playing on mobile devices, and even if you play on BlueStacks, it can be a little bit disorienting. So I'm glad that the game gives you a couple of choices there if you do want to auto-battle or not. But I do want to say this, some people are kind of weary of auto-play games, but this is a title where if it comes to the PvE, which we actually already did a video on that, you should check that out. I already mentioned, if you try to autoplay some of the harder difficulty dungeons, it's not going to work. And even if you autoplay some of the easier stuff, doesn't mean you're going to be very efficient. It's really there to be an assist tool, like aim assist in shooters. So when it comes to PvP, yeah, this game's actually taken pretty seriously in its origin regions. And over here, I think we're starting to see that a lot of people are starting to learn how to play. So I'm going to get kind of my booty kicked. Because mainly for the footage, I was using a lot more of the assistance than maybe I should have. Probably should have looked up more on my skills there. But there's like a lot of subtle math. This game is very mathy. You want to learn about, you know, all the different stats that your gear can give you, all the little subtle customizations, what skills to use when, and what order you should be leveling them up in. I'm sure there's tons of guides already out there. And you know, if I can find any, I'll leave it in the comments below for resources or a little bit of citation to help you guys get started in AxE. But overall for me, I'm definitely a newer player, obviously, still leveling up. But that's kind of why I like MMO PvP, and especially games like this. AxE, especially here, we have an open world. You know, it's mobile, just free to play, just jump in, drop out. And you got some world PvP. I love it that I can just run around, quest, and stab people in the back, steal, you know, their loot. And, you know, there's even like these epic world bosses that you can fight and conquest with your guild and potentially like get ran over by the opposing faction and they take all the credit for it. There's a lot of really cool sandboxy, like hardcore kind of gameplay. Even though this is a generally like a more casual mobile theme park MMO, it still has that PvEVP gameplay that we don't get in other genres generally, unless you go full survival games. So this archetype of gameplay, pretty rare, generally takes a more long-winded approach to get into them, and it's just cool that there's a mobile game that I can just do right there. AxE, Alliance X Empire. It is more or less a right proper full MMO on your mobile devices, but not only that, but it actually originated as an action RPG, so it's based on like those ARPG roots. You can see it in the action combat. which is why a lot of new players it necessitates the autoplay feature, because there's a lot of complexity with the aim and the timing and the mobility of some of these abilities. It's actually like fundamentally kind of a little bit debatably mechanical. Actually, so really good players, especially with certain classes that have more aimed abilities or need to kite, you're gonna have some actual true playability when it comes to the actual like playing with the mobile controls and playing this game how it's really intended to be played. Very sporty, actually, potentially. Now, me as the Blade Master, it seems like I'm more of somebody that just like runs up to people's faces and hacks and slashes, which is totally cool, totally fine. Though you are going to see me flounder that just a little bit often. I go where probably I shouldn't go. I really run up into people's faces and I just spam abilities. And if you do that in dungeons as well, you're just going to get killed. As you can see with my character at least, yes, I can run up to people and do lots of damage and sweeping and swathing attacks. However, I'm locked in place quite often. I do have one ability that kind of lunges me forward, but really I should probably use that ability as an opener, then use my slower, then use my ability that actually cracks armor, and then from there I need to pick and choose when and where to use my abilities. But at the moment, I'm kind of am just spamming abilities, and you're seeing like I'm just getting rocked because I am literally just standing still spamming abilities. And that is not how you win. Now, of course, obviously, I would want to show you like more sophisticated gameplay. You should be aware, though, that also unique to this game and this genre, we do have very imbalanced gameplay, especially, open world PvEVP. Players are going to have varying level degrees of like gear, different types of gear. Somebody might be more defensive for easier autoplay dungeoning and grinding, but it's not going to be very good for actually attacking and PvPing. Somebody might have a full PK set. I don't know. There's lots of little imbalances throughout the entire game. That's not entirely a negative, actually. That's the reason why we play these kind of games, especially with all this cash shop influence and all these, the paper doll influence. It's because of the disbalance and because of the weirdness, the strange gameplay loop of that. Overall, it does exist in this game. You should be aware of it. And if you're a player that enjoys that kind of stuff, it's got the in spades. Open world PvEVP, even in the arenas, you're going to have varying levels of literally different level characters coming in and attacking you, different classes as well. And there's a variety of different scenarios that you're going to be put in. That's PvP, different scenarios from arenas to the open world to, the invasions and things. And of course, the different dungeons. And, even in the open world, you have your quests, you have your grind mobs. There's like an open world, like siege monster and all that you can have interacted up PvP with as well. So just like a little bit extra complexity than what we're used to inside of games like this, especially on mobile MMO. So this is a video on getting into the game, and since this game is focused on progression, it's an RPG, and there's lots of ways to spend currencies and spend time in this game to progress through this game. I figured that maybe I'll just do like a little mini guide since I'm just now kind of learning the game as well, just trying to help you, explain a little bit of the mechanics and ease you in the real meat of the game. So for Alliance X Empire to actually circulate items and make it really important for players to loot, they have a system where you develop items or armor pieces, weapons, by funneling different weapons and armor pieces into them. Basically, yeah, you just throw it in the toilet and then, you stack them all and then they level up. Now, as these items level up, it takes more and more to continue to level them up, but it's harder as, you're leveling to actually get really good gains from just stacking all your trash items into one armor piece, which was kind of a mistake I made, which, forced me to grind a little bit longer in certain areas that I didn't want to really. So that was totally my mistake. That's part of the gamification. I think probably as a guide, I want to say it's really best to more evenly distribute your items. So as you're looting, you're gonna get maybe some necklaces, throw that and enhance your necklace. You're gonna get some gloves, throw those gloves and enhance your glove until you get, a new rarity and you level up and progress from that. But don't just throw all your armor pieces onto your boots, whatever. Overall, you're not gonna have as quick, as efficient of progression as you'd like. So just more evenly distribute, and that's just my one little tip that I can throw out. And just want to say, remember to click on your achievements, click on your rewards, your login rewards. You're going to get a lot of armors, you're going to get a lot of stuff to help enhance and further progress your gameplay. And also play during the events, actually participate in the events. You're going to get a lot of gear, a lot of loot, pets and wings and all sorts of stuff that's going to help you have more fun and actually get this loot. It's a loot driven game. You're going to get free loot from playing this free-to-play game, and then also it's gonna be used to actually progress through the game a little bit quicker. So yeah, just remember, daily play the dailies. So if you're wondering how long it takes to actually get to this point where I'm at, where you start really beginning to feel the PvP, the start of the game is definitely PvE oriented. Obviously, you get your training wheels, and it's a mobile game, so it's more or less, it's going to start very easy and intuitive, and the game's really focused on efficiency, and then later, it starts to become more and more crunchingly difficult, and trust me, there is some serious challenge PvE and PvP-wise in this game, and about at level 22, which should take you about a dozen hours to reach if you play very, very casually. Play very casually, just, play it socially. I think about 12 hours, and then you're going to be at the point where, okay, you're actually really in the meat of the game, and probably at 12 hours, you're going to be past where I was. Took me a little bit longer because I'm like recording and stuff, and I was talking during certain pits, and just playing the game very socially and communicatively with my community. But for you, if you just want to go into the grind and jump into it, I think about a dozen hours, you are in the serious meat of the game, and then on the road to endgame, which I don't imagine taking more than a full 24 hours to really get, near that goal. So at 24 hours, you are ready to participate in the serious stuff, which I actually got to play. I flew actually over to San Francisco, went to Nexon's offices, and I got to play. And I'm telling you, that is some cool stuff. Those dragon raids and the PvP at that level is something to really be hungry for. So the video that you're seeing right now, it's really just a tease. It's as honest as it gets. This is what the gameplay is probably going to look like for you. I try to do my best to represent it as accurately as possible. So whether this is up your alley or not, hopefully it is. Hopefully you guys do have fun, but let me know in the comments below. As well, look in the description if it's appetizing you, click that link, download the game, and try it out for yourselves. Remember, this was a sponsored video. Thank you so much for the opportunity. AxE, I loved the trip that we got to go on. Met a lot of cool people there, had a lot of fun, and overall, this is a very interesting game to see on the horizon here for the entire genre for mobile MMORPG. But that's all I've got to show, represent, reveal here for, my first look at the PvP for AxE Alliance X Empire. I want to say thank you so much for the love and support of my community, and thanks for the sponsored opportunity, Alliance X Empire. And finally, this is an open world PvP game. Even though there are arenas, there are dungeons, things like that, there's always going to be new zones for the factions to be fighting over. And just recently they added a new one as well. So here's some B-roll footage of that if you guys want to just kind of peruse it while you're closing out, and leaving your thoughts in the comments below so far. What you think of Alliance X Empire? I would love to know. Hopefully I see you guys in the game. Keep the hype alive, and I'll see you again next time.
Yeah.